Hello, members of the jury. Hey, settle down. Settle down. Settle the fuck. Okay. Court is now in session. Welcome to Cameron's Courthouse, where I decide the quality of a game. The sentence a video game will get. Not guilty, probation, a prison sentence, a life sentence, or an execution. The guilty meter will be our indicator for what the game is charged with. Dark Souls 2's quality will be based on 10 different categories. Dark Souls 2 came out in March 11th, 2014, and believe it or not, is the second Dark Souls game. Now, starting off with our first category, community, I may not have the hugest, biggest, most awesomest knowledge about the Dark Souls 2 community, and if you couldn't tell by now, all of these rankings are based on my personal opinions, so Ottstarve did a pretty cool all-boss no-hit run, so I'm just gonna give it like an 8. I don't fucking know. Our next category will be replayability. Now, I have a horrific experience with replaying the game, because during my first run, something so goofy and awesome happened. A key NPC dying. Of course, the boss weapon NPC is surrounded by insta-killing basilisks. That resulted in me being forced to finish the game and restart to get the weapon I very much wanted. It made my entire build around. Now, aside from that, nightmare experience, it's a Dark Souls game. The number of options you have to beat the game are crazy. Dark builds, faith builds, strength builds, dex builds. List goes on. So based on that, it's an 8 from me, Chief. Now, for the next category, identity. This will be compared to other From Software games in terms of standing out. Now, here is where I think it suffers. Most of the bosses are not that great. The storyline is kinda dead. However, the weapons bang, and are genuinely the most fun to play with when compared to literally every other Dark Souls game. Power stancing is, pardon my French, based as hell, and the hub Majula is literally the best out of all the other games. But due to other problems, it gets a 6 out of 10. Coming up is art style. Now, this game can look utterly incredible, and some of the areas have great detail gone to them. I'll be damned, it's kinda crazy that Dark Souls 2 is without a flaw in this category. 9 for art style. Now, here comes the fun part. Oh boy, next category is difficulty. I want to start this off by saying that multiple parts in this game made me want to rip out my eyes and put broken light bulbs in the sockets while sticking my penis into an electrical outlet. It's not fun. Most of the fights are ganky as hell, some of the areas are downright infuriating, and this game has taken at least 15 years off my lifespan. Fuck you, take a 0. Oh boy, guess what? Another fun one, design. Now, before I rip this game to shreds, for bugs, there's not that many I noticed. One eensy-weensy tiny little problem though is that the hitboxes are the worst thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. The areas also suck bad. The Iron Keep was where I lost the will to live. They stuck 20 pieces of dumb with katanas that run faster than you and take 45 hits to kill with an at-level weapon. That's fine for the most part. If they were spread out evenly, they stick 5 before you get to the big orgy in the center where 50 of them and 2 huge gigachads with bows wait for you. Oh, and did I mention that the fog gates don't provide invincibility when you go through? Have fun losing all of your heals before the boss. In this specific instance, you could just ignore the boss and go around, but no. There's another area. The Shrine of Amana. This area made me feel like I was living in the Great Depression. They stuck so many goddamn mother-sucking stupid heckin' mages in this area, and I think my hate for any magical ranged gameplay in literally any game comes from them. 1 for design. Now, influence is a fickle thing. Dark Souls 2 had a lot to follow up with after Dark Souls 1, and hold on. So, we're gonna rank it based on its influence to other FromSoft games. Well, it had quite a bit of impact. Fast traveling to every bonfire stuck around. It was available in Dark Souls 1, just not as good. More unique weapons and weapon arts were also kept, and exploring became less about finding shortcuts and more about getting to the next bonfire. It had its fair share of features that were kept. 8 out of 10 for influence. Now, next category is memorability. This is a weird one. Now, there's some great boss fights. The Pursuer is cool. I like the Looking Glass Knight, and most of the DLC bosses are just incredible. However, with bosses like the Covetous Demon that just kind of flails around and doesn't really attack you, and Prowling Magus in Congregation, which are just basic enemies and one guy with a hat, it feels like some of these bosses are designed by developers who were on meth. I mean, come on. They made a boss fight with just rats, and after killing 20 of them, a bigger rat steps out, and the only unique feature it has is that it dies in maybe 2 more hits. It's like they drew inspiration from the local crack addict's daily life. The boss fights are the most forgettable part, sadly. However, the areas can be beautiful, with great music, cool enemies, and neat NPCs. Or they can be a hellish nightmare that makes me wish I was born a century ago. On either side of the spectrum, they're both super memorable. Because of the split from I forgot what we're talking about already to lifelong trauma, I feel like 5 out of 10 would be a good rating for memorability. Now, the first huge positive that isn't the category I mentioned like 5 minutes ago that I can't remember is originality. Dark Souls 2 has many unique features among From Software games and other games in general. The ability to level up at a bonfire to revive all enemies and make them stronger, but also give you rewards is great. The new boss souls and weapons you get from them depend on the new game level, which is also great. Weapon arts are practically free to use, but degrade the weapon, and that's also good. Estus flasks and life gems taking a bit to actually heal you as opposed to healing instantly makes it more fair in difficulty. First actual huge Omega dub for Dark Souls 2. 10 for originality. Now here it is. The final category. The fun factor. I would be lying if I said that I didn't almost shatter a controller and punch a hole through the wall on multiple occasions while playing this game. Some of the areas, as mentioned previously, for lack of a better word, suck balls. Most of the boss fights are mediocre, and the experience really got ruined by my severe lack of boss weapons. But even with all that, the fun moments were great. Finding out new paths to explore, fighting unique enemies, discovering different storylines and covenants. That part's all great. So if I were to rank the fun, I would say 4 out of 10. Now, with that conclusion, based on the hellish first experience, I would sentence this game to a death by firing squad out of 100 if it weren't for the guilty meter. Based on the score of the guilty meter, I sentence this game to 2 years probation, or a 61 out of 100. That is far better than what I expected, and I even made this review. This court is now adjourned. Okay, this is the unscripted bit. Hey guys, did you like this style? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, I'm probably gonna make more of these. If you want something changed, say it. I don't fucking... Alright, see you later.